The celebration of Christmas in Bethlehem, the solemn entrance of the Patriarch, the feast, the Mass of the night, and the procession to the Grotto of the Nativity. In a video message for the youth of Bethlehem and the Holy Land, Pope Francis's best wishes and words of hope. On the occasion of Christmas, the Patriarch of Jerusalem of the Latins, His Beatitude Pierbattista Pizzaballa, made a pastoral visit to Gaza. The hope and warmth of Christmas in the home for difficult kids in Bethlehem. The Milk Grotto in Bethlehem is the backdrop for the Christmas message of the Custos of the Holy Land, in which the drama of life is not hidden, but illuminated by the mystery of the Incarnation. The bells and the singing of the Gloria announce that it is Christmas again, especially in Bethlehem. A Christmas that still has to deal with the restrictions due to the pandemic. No tourists and pilgrims, but this year some Christians from Gaza have arrived again. It is already the second year that Bethlehem breathes Christmas with only one lung, with the local Christians and without the pilgrims. You can also live with only one lung, but you do not live well. We want to look at the positive aspects because Christmas is also the time when we have to look in the child, the hope that comes among us. The presence of the Christians of Gaza, of a part of them, is a positive sign. We are so happy. My daughters had never been out of Gaza. They had never seen Bethlehem. Finally, we're here. A light of hope in the midst of difficulties. I received many gifts, but the most beautiful one was the visit to Gaza, the look of the children, the joy of those children, simple but full of life. It was the most beautiful gift, the most beautiful comfort of this year. Christmas Day in Bethlehem began with a solemn entrance of the Patriarch of Jerusalem of the Latins, His Beatitude Pierbattista Pizzaballa, on the morning of December the 24th. For Christmas every year, we come to the square of the Nativity for the entrance of the Patriarch, all here together to celebrate in this feast of love and peace. The welcome at the tomb of Rachel, the walk through the old city accompanied by the scouts, up to the square of the Nativity, where since the morning a small crowd of believers gathered. The desire to celebrate is great, as well as the joy of finding oneself in this city where everything began. Bethlehem, because it's the city where Jesus was born, where I feel my religious belonging. Here, something great has happened. I came here for the Feast of Christmas to celebrate together with my Christian brothers. We come to see the Basilica of the Nativity. We see things we don't know. We entered the Church of the Nativity and saw where the child was born. We celebrate together with our Christian brothers and sisters. After greeting the faithful in the streets of Bethlehem, Patriarch Pizzaballa greeted the authorities and the Franciscan friars of the custody of the Holy Land in front of the Basilica of the Nativity, then entered the Basilica for a moment of community prayer. The message I feel like saying, the only one I have in my heart, is the one I told the community. Let us look forward with confidence. We are in dire need of hearing from His witnesses, especially from the Church, that God's word is being fulfilled. Jesus is still present. Hope is not just thinking that it will be okay, but it is the certainty that good is already in our midst. We gather for the Mass of the night, the Mass of the announcement that God became man. The Patriarch presided over the Mass in St. Catherine's Church, next to the Basilica of the Nativity. Also present were the Palestinian authorities, including the Prime Minister, Mohammad Shtayyeh. The President of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, did not attend. In the nearby Field of Shepherds, the celebration of the Apostolic Delegate for Jerusalem and Palestine, Monsignor Adolfo Tito Iana. During his homily, the Patriarch reviewed the lights and shadows of this year, hoping for justice and freedom for a people tired of waiting to be allowed to live freely with the dignity in their own land and home.
What is needed are not concessions, but the recognition of rights and an end to years of occupation and violence, with all their dramatic consequences on the life of each individual and the community at large. We need to create new relationships in which not distrust, but mutual trust reigns.
A possible coexistence in the light of Christmas.
In that child is the love that enters the world, that remains in every moment of history, that is an endless adventure that can truly change everything. The Church still invites us today to recognize this mystery that continues to manifest itself among us.
The celebrations closed with a procession to the Grotto of the Nativity. The gospel of Jesus' birth was proclaimed, and the Patriarch laid a statue of the baby Jesus at the site of his birth. In an exclusive message recorded during his recent visit to Cyprus, Pope Francis urged the youth of Bethlehem and the Holy Land to stay true to their roots in the land where Jesus was born.
Queridos jóvenes, los quiero saludar desde Chipre. Estoy cerca de ustedes, en la otra orilla. Pienso mucho en ustedes. Ustedes están en Tierra Santa, lugar de peregrinación que lamentablemente con la peste del COVID se ha aquietado demasiado. A veces no sabe qué hacer, a veces viene la idea de que aquí no hay futuro, mirar a ver si voy a otro lado, la desconformidad. Por favor, no se permitan esos pensamientos oscuros. Miren adelante, miren el horizonte. Siempre en la vida hay un horizonte. Yo puedo hacer dos cosas, o mirar el suelo o mirar el horizonte. Prueba a mirar el horizonte. Siempre es una promesa más allá. Cuando la promesa está avalada por la palabra de Dios, no defrauda nunca. La esperanza no defrauda, Dios no defrauda. Pero sí, comprometete con tu tierra, comprometete con tu patria, comprometete con tu historia y lleva adelante esa vocación humana que Dios te dio. No bajes las manos, mira siempre adelante, no pierdas la ilusión de construir, de llevar adelante tu pueblo, tus raíces, tu riqueza cultural, tu riqueza religiosa, formar una familia. Es difícil, sí, en las situaciones actuales, pero no pierdas la ilusión. La esperanza no defrauda. Y en esta víspera de Navidad, ¿quién iba a pensar que ese chiquillo que estaba ahí era el Hijo de Dios? Los magos lo intuyeron y se jugaron. Por eso te digo, en la media pobreza, tiempo de guerra, límites, aduanas, falta de libertad, pensar en el pesebre de Jesús. Así como Él desde un pesebre hizo lo que hizo, también vos, desde situaciones conflictivas, podés hacer cosas grandes. Apostá al futuro, jugate. Y vas a ver cómo Dios te va a bendecir. Feliz Navidad, Santa Navidad. Y por favor, no te olvides de rezar por mí. Muchas gracias.
The Patriarch of Jerusalem of the Latins, His Beatitude Pierbattista Pizzaballa, visited Gaza on the occasion of Christmas. The parish priest welcomed him on December the 17th at the Beit Hanun checkpoint at the Erez crossing.
Every year the visit in Gaza is important. This year is also important, first of all, to strengthen all the program of the Latin Patriarchate and to show to our community, to prove that what we are doing is not just a temporary solution, temporary program, but is a commitment, open commitment also for the future.
From one neighborhood to another, from one house to another, the paternal care of the Patriarch manifested itself through visiting parishioners, listening and carefully observing their living conditions.
The most beautiful moment of the visit is, of course, the visit to the families. Very touching, especially when you arrive in poor families with problems. This was very important for me, and this gives me strength. When you see these people in that situation, also their strength and their unity gives me also strength in my service to the Catholic community of the Latin Patriarchate.
During his visit, the Patriarch also met representatives of some Christian associations and institutions active in the Gaza Strip, among them the Missionaries of Charity, the Sisters of Mother Teresa, who are also here at the service of the poorest humanity.
وهي المؤسسات ما بتخدم فقط المسيحيين، بالعكس هي بتخدم كل المجتمع الفلسطيني.
These institutions serve not only Christians, but all of Palestinian society, especially the Gaza community, regardless of religion or race. Today we are here to continue to build coexistence with our Christian brothers and sisters.
وكل عام وانتم بخير وبتمنى لكم سنة سعيدة عليكم.
Their dedication is wonderful, and through their charity, through their love, we see how much the Muslim community is loving and supporting these institutions, and how these institutions is a very concrete way where we show to everyone what does it mean to be Christian.
As a Latin Catholic Church, we have 134 faithful, but also several works open to all. 3 schools, the School of the Latin Patriarchate and the School of the Holy Family, and that of the Sisters of the Rosary, a center for the formation and education of young people, hospitals, Caritas. The Sisters of Mother Teresa take care of children and the elderly with special needs, and there is also a project for the so-called butterfly children in the Gaza Strip.
مدر تريزا في مبادرة لأطفال الفراشة في كل القطاع غزة.
In the Church of the Holy Family, the children of the parish staged a play telling the story of Christmas. This was followed by the lighting of the Christmas tree.
Our joy is still incomplete because our families are outside the Gaza Strip in the West Bank, and we do not have the opportunity to share Christmas with them. Christmas is a time dedicated to family and faith, and this makes us feel the festive atmosphere. We also share the joy we see in our children when they participate in moments and activities that make them happy. The holiday for me is my children's joy when I see them happy. That's Christmas for us.
We started discussion with the authorities in order to let the members of our community, the Christian community, to have access at least to the West Bank. I hope we can have some concrete solution for this. I'm more positive than the past about this.
The Patriarch concluded his pastoral visit with a very well-attended Mass, during which he baptized the girl from the parish, a gesture that expresses the attention and pastoral care of the Latin Patriarchate for this small but very lively community. I'm very happy with everything. All the things they gave us at the boys' home are beautiful. The gifts are nice and studying is beautiful. Everything is beautiful. For more than 14 years, the Boys' Home of Bethlehem takes care of those children whose story should be told in itself, with severe social hardship and economic problems. But among these great difficulties, the charity of the Franciscan friars comes to bring hope, always. Isn't this a beautiful gift from God? We are always in a home, that of the boys. We are very happy to give this feeling of Christmas to our children today. We are also in front of the Church of the Nativity.
Davanti alla chiesa di Natività.
Thanks to the support of the Custody of the Holy Land and the Franciscan Foundation of the Holy Land, the children were able to celebrate their Christmas together, a day spent among moments of celebration and games first, then with a Holy Mass presided by Brother Francesco Patton, Custos of the Holy Land, and finally the exchange of gifts. It is a special day before Christmas when our boys can meet the caretaker and Father Peter, who support us throughout the year. A day that also allows them to understand what Christmas is, the joy you have seen here today.
Proprio questa gioia come avete visto oggi.
For the second consecutive year here in Bethlehem, families are suffering the serious economic consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. They are families in which the parents, just like St. Joseph and Mary, his wife, try to do everything possible to take care of their children in a historical moment of serious difficulty. For this year's Christmas message, I would like to take you to the Milk Grotto sanctuary, which is about 100 meters from the Grotto of the Nativity. It is a very beautiful and a very significant sanctuary, which reminds us that Christmas is not only poetry, but it is also drama. In the decisive moment of history in which the Son of God became a man to share our life and save us, he met the hostility and rejection of an infanticidal king like Herod, thirsty for power and fearful of losing it. Already in Bethlehem, even from the very moment he was born, Jesus encountered that hostility and that rejection, which in Jerusalem, some 30 years later, would lead him to be condemned to death on the cross. The Milk Grotto reminds us that in the middle of the night, Joseph is forced to get up, take the baby Jesus and his mother Mary with him, and flee to Egypt. The Milk Grotto also reminds us of the tender and maternal gesture with which Mary, during a short pause, breastfeeds the baby Jesus. Mary's tender gestures reminds us of the concreteness of the mystery of the Incarnation. The Son of God, in becoming flesh, chose to share our human nature in everything. The tenderness of Mary, who holds the Holy Child in her arms and breastfeeds him, is the same with which many years later she will again take in her arms that same child, tortured, killed, and taken down from a cross. In this place, Christmas already allows us to feel the mystery of Easter. Here, it is also natural to think of the many families in difficulty, today in various countries of the world, to the many families forced to flee their homes, their country and their homeland because they are persecuted by political regimes that reincarnate the mentality of hero, or because increasingly frequent economic and environmental disasters force them to leave everything and emigrate. In this place, it falls on us to entrust all these families to the Holy Family of Jesus, Joseph and Mary, but it also falls on us to ask that the other families, those who are well, those who do not have to flee, that they may know how to have an open heart. Merry Christmas from Bethlehem. Merry Christmas from the Milk Grotto Sanctuary. Merry Christmas from the place where Mary and Joseph teach us to watch over the Son of God and take care of Him, watching over and taking care of a child, of every child, of every small and fragile person. Merry Christmas.